本当？見えないでしょ？どこにいるのかな？見えないよ。
I miss you.
What's good, Internet? It's Friday, March 27th, 2020, and you are listening to Waypoint Radio, episode 302?
Yeah.
Is my guess? Okay,
Yes.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it.
Got it in one.
That's the voice of Ricardo Contreras. I'm here. I'm Austin Walker. Also joining us, the kind of vanguard of our Animal Crossing team, Geeta Jackson. Hi, Geeta.
Hello! I'm Geeta, and I'm very enthusiastic about Animal Crossing.
And we're here to talk mostly about Animal Crossing today. We've assembled the best and brightest here at the Waypoint Extended Network office to talk about Animal Crossing because Kato and I are slowly catching up with Geeta, who wrote the review. And if you missed the review, you should go to waypoint.vice.com and go read that review. Where do I want to open? I guess we should open actually on the Nintendo Direct today. There's a Nintendo Mini Direct. Let's get that like news stuff out of the way so that we can just kind of talk about where we're at with Animal Crossing and then answer some user questions.
I scrolled through it. I was like feeding my cat and trying to grapple with our current reality. So I missed it when it was live. But I scrolled through it and I saw that the Animal Crossing update, which looks super adorable. And I got to see a little bit of the info on Bravely Second, which is a game I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. I didn't beat the first I didn't beat Bravely Default, but I probably put 20 hours into it and really enjoyed it and then got distracted. And I think I maybe moved in the middle of it. Around that. That's around the time that was.
I really enjoyed that first one. And I had a similar thing with the second one though, where like something came up and I like didn't get very far through Bravely Second.
Right. Was Bravely Second an entirely new?
Bravely Second.
Was Bravely Second a whole new thing? Like, was it a full sequel? God.
Yeah.
I think it was a whole new thing, which is why I didn't follow up on it. I did the thing where how like Saw is a good movie, but you don't have time for that, so you just read the Wikipedia summary of all of Saw, and then you watch the ending.
Right.
I did that for Bravely Default, where I was like, man, I love this combat system, and I love just grinding combat on the bus, but I don't really care about following the story, even though I like it, so I ended up just reading a summary of the story, and I was like, whoa, crazy! And then when they didn't, when I learned the follow-up was not going to necessarily follow the same world, I was like, I'll get to it. And then I didn't get to it.
Yeah. Kato, anything else you want to call out from that the Direct Mini?
There was just some more. Well, yes, actually, first of all, they fucked up and put fucking XCOM 2 on the Switch, which is going to ruin me.
Like a fuck up to me. I don't know about. That seems cool.
It's good. No. Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. It's just like I'm not gonna put my Switch down. I'm already having trouble being like, okay, I have to put the Switch away. Like the Switch is sitting right here next to me. Because I downloaded the fucking Bravely Default demo. But
oh my God, I
now with the added thing of like, I'll just pop in for a little bit of XCOM and just when I sit down to play that game, like I play a lot of it to the point where like. I gave myself back problems one day just from sitting at the computer for so long. Putting it on the Switch, meaning I could just go sit on the couch. It's like great. It's a great thing. I just don't like it for me. It's just like I'm worried.
I get you. I got you.
It's great. I just don't like it for me. It's like it's such a mood. That's such a mood.
Yeah.
That is part of like a big 2K on Switch thing, which is a weird, surprising branding because that's also the BioShock collection. They're also releasing the BioShock collection and Borderlands 1, 2, and the Moon one. Pre-sequel, the Borderlands collection. So that's interesting.
I gotta get a bigger micro SD card for my Switch at this point.
Like, I had to delete. Me too. I had to delete a lot of old videos and photos this week for new Animal Crossing ones. And I just got to go through and clean up. I just got to go through, delete some games. It's fine.
How many Animal Crossing screenshots do you have?
Dozens, hundreds. Like it's instant, like constantly.
I have 587.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, I 100% get it. I probably took 12 this morning. You know, like it's just where I'm at with
it's
that
so
game.
easy to do because like everything is such a beautiful like diorama.
The game looks so good. It blows me away.
It's the same exact appeal as like making miniatures or something.
Yes, it has that vibe. I mean, like so many of the texture details feel you can like seeing Tom Nook's head for the first time on a big screen on the Switch. Is like, wow, you're so fuzzy. Yeah, exactly. You're fuzzy like a
fuzzy like felt?
Like textile. Exactly. Yeah.
It's not even that, but like the individual leaves on the trees, like they have been trending towards like giving those trees individual leaves instead of them having being three circles. But this is the first time where it's like, man, that is a fucking leaf. That is an individual leaf.
When it gets
that is not a series of pixels. Yeah.
When it gets windy, that's
God.
It's so cool.
It's crazy.
Real quick, some other stuff on the direct I want to shout out.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna finally try to play Xenoblade Chronicles,
right?
Because this this trailer looked good. I always thought that first game looked kind of cool, and I liked what I played of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and obviously I liked what I played of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was what I played of Xenoblade Chronicles X was like 50 or 60 hours, and I didn't come close to beating it.
Damn.
And I played like 30 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and really liked it, despite its like just like deep criminal horniness. It was like a really fun shonen style like adventure story.
Horny is illegal.
It's like, God, did you ever see the quote on that shit on why all those characters? Not why. I mean, they all ended up horny because so many of the character designers were horny. But there was literally a disconnect, I believe, between the story team and like the direction team and the art direction team. The characters that looked really horny to the point that like they broke physics and anatomy were the kind of Pokemon of that game. They're not literally Pokemon. They're like magic fighter characters you could summon to fight for you. The Blades. And the quote that I read recently was from, I believe, one of the directors on the game who was like, yeah, we sent them like a list of types of, like, we need a snow creature and we need a bear and we need, here's just like ideas for types of, battle Pokemon, sci-fi Pokemon we need. And they sent us back horny ladies. And like, all right, I guess here we are.
God damn.
But that was not like some deep, important thing, which makes it almost worse in a real way because it's like, it was not like the narrative team was like, now, I mean, key detail of our world is that the lady's tits got to be all the way out all the time.
Right.
But that is kind of why
where she derives her power, you know?
Right, exactly. And I think that's why the main characters don't fit that, but so many of the background throwaway random like blade weapons you summon is because the main character story is probably like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk who this character is, and then with the like, oh yeah, I'm gonna summon this snowman, but it's a horny tits out snowman. Is like, all right, sure. Anyway, I'm gonna try to.
After this episode airs, I'm gonna change my display name on Twitter to horny tits out snowman.
Perfect. Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles, the remaster or whatever looks good. There was an Animal Crossing update. Or not an update, but there's Easter's coming. Bunny Day is coming.
Bunny Day's coming, and they teased Earth Day also.
Yes.
But it looks like, okay, this is where it looks like even more of the influence from Pocket Camp is coming, because these kinds of events that are multiple days long and come with specific recipes that can be only done during that event. There've been events in Animal Crossing, but usually it's like a one-day holiday. Right. Where like you show up at a specific time and a specific thing happens and it's just for that day, and if you miss it, you miss it. This week-long event, this is like Pocket Camp. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's really adorable.
The thing I like about it is there are definitely events I missed because I got busy. But I also do like the idea of like, all right, I got to mark my calendar. It's fishing day. It's time for this tournament, or it's time to do like it's Earth Day. This is the one day it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Leaf also showed up
on Christmas and like having Winter Day, like, or whatever they call it. It's sweet. It's like adorable that it's just one day, like in the real world, and if you miss that holiday, you miss it.
Destination gaming, it's real. Also Leaf showed up for the Earth Day bit. The sloth character.
I love Leaf.
Who's like a gardener. Cute. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
which makes me think we're gonna see some characters that are like longtime fan favorites only in events. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
which
that's
is fine.
Bothersome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
as long as they
don't
show
like
up,
it.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh, Austin. Let's just make Austin happy.
I just want to know they're okay.
I'll have you know, Austin, when I was playing this before he had it, DM'd me privately on Discord one day and was like, "Does Isabel recognize you?"
Yeah, I needed to know. I needed to
Oh
know
my
if she would
God.
know if it was me. I have her in my town as of
Mayor?
today.
Nice.
Yeah, God, if she'd been like, "You remind me of someone who left," I would have just been like, "I gotta stop. I gotta die. Bye. I'm gonna go lay down in a ditch."
Yeah, it's a plague.
Oh my God.
Two other shout outs from this direct this morning. One is that the Panzer Dragoon remake is just out on Switch now, which
Great.
totally surprised me.
Okay.
The second is Star Wars Pod Racer coming soon.
Wow.
Star
It's not
Wars
Pokemon?
Racer,
It's not the
pod
Pokemon
racing
stuff?
game.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
also
if that
Pokemon.
game-
Pokemon was there too.
I don't know if Pod Racer will be the same if I'm not like illicitly smoking a bowl in my friend's basement in high school. You know,
Sure.
Oh my God.
You can still do that. It just won't be as illicit. No, it would be illicit now because you're over your friend's house, which you
Yeah.
shouldn't do. Social distance, please.
Yeah.
God, my neighbors upstairs are like having parties.
Fuck
fucked up.
off.
That's fucked
Do
up.
any of you know Sniper Wolf from the Metal Gear Solid series?
Yes.
I like could use her services at this time.
Yeah, God. Drop them. Pokemon stuff, Kato. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about Pokemon?
Yeah, real quick, there's just did some updates for that new expansion, the Isle of Iron, I think. I forget the name
Armor.
already. Armor. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one where you get a cute kung fu bear. There were two forms of that bear, so people basically assumed that it would be like version exclusives. But it turns out
Right.
that there's when you go into the game, there's like two like towers that are like battle trials, and once you clear that, depending on which one you choose, that's how Cubchoo will evolve. So there's a dark tower for like fast strike mode, and there's like a water tower for like smooth strike mode, I think, or I'm getting those
One
names
strike?
incorrect.
I think it's one strike. It's like a powerful one hit versus like a multiple hit attack.
Right, yeah.
Mode, right?
So,
or versions, not modes. You don't switch
Rapid
between them.
strike style and fast strike style. So yeah, it's
No,
good that you
can't be
can
right. Those mean the same thing. That whoever
No.
wrote that is wrong.
No, hold on.
Fast strike and rapid strike, it would be
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, no, rapid
can't be
strike.
right.
Rapid strike, I think, is multiple though, and fast
Okay.
strike is one. It's one quick one, and rapid is
Okay.
many rapidly, right?
I believe you. I believe
But so
you.
it's nice that you can have a choice into which of because it's a legendary Pokemon, so you
Right.
So, but you can pick which one you want, which is nice.
It's single strike. I promise it is. I'm looking
Yeah,
at the official
yeah.
Pokemon site.
Okay.
It's single strike and rapid
single
strike.
strike. Okay.
Yes,
I was looking.
yes.
I couldn't find it in here.
It's fine.
Single
It's
and
fine.
rapid. There we go.
Yes.
The other thing they showed off was the Gmax things of the starters, which basically it's their Dynamax forms, but they're special Dynamax forms with new moves. And I was upset to learn that the tower that Inteleon is sitting on to snipe people from is his tail. And it's just his tail being
it's a big
real.
tail.
Yeah. There's a shot of him. There's a shot of the tower from above, and you see the tail just kind of loop up into his butt. And yeah, that's disturbing. I don't like it.
Great.
But
Good.
yeah, that's Pokemon for now. That's
Pokemon for now, folks.
Pokemon. Oh, also there's some new customization things with those trainer cards.
Oh,
that
yeah,
you can
those are
make.
cool.
Those are
Yeah.
fun. I really love making those, and there's going to be new outfits and stuff. So it looks neat. It looks good. I'm excited for one of those end of June part 1 Isle of Armor.
Awesome.
And then autumn is the second part.
Which is something about a crown.
Crown of my brain. The Crown Tundra.
Crown of my brain. The crown what?
the Crown Tundra.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that name.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we've done it. We've done our duty as journalists and reporters and talked about the news. Now, finally, we can talk about what the real news. The real news is.
Wait, did we talk about Ring Fit?
No.
Oh man. Okay, so the Ring
Shout out
Fit
the
rhythm
stuff.
game looks so good. It looks so dope.
Tell me talk about the new stuff.
Oh god, I haven't played Ring Fit. I'm just like thinking about playing Ring Fit every day. It's all I want to do, really. But
I believe in you. You can do it.
They don't have any anywhere. Patrick wrote about it.
Yeah,
I don't have $300 laying around.
No, that's fair. I spent
this
a
economy.
lot. I didn't spend $300, but I spent almost half of $300 on Ring Fit 3 weeks ago. So
I understand. I didn't pull the trigger. I decided to panic buy a filing cabinet.
That's nice. You could just lift that.
Yo, I gotta tell you though, this was like the day before lockdown set in New York, and it arrived. And my boyfriend and I, the last time I'm gonna see him, we were like walking it up the stoop like two little weaklings because we're unable to carry it. And this like built tall man who lives on my block is like, "Yo, can I help you out?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you get the door?" And he was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then he grabs it, puts it on his shoulder, and then runs up our stoop and also up the flight of stairs.
Damn.
Wow.
Why you gotta brag for? Wow. That's literally the definition of a weird flex, but okay. Yeah. That is actually a weird flex.
I mean, thank you. We would have suffered if you weren't here. But
yeah, but also, okay.
Sure. Yeah. Well, God. Anyway, they added a rhythm game to Ring Fit. But it makes you, I can see all the things it's making you do that seem really fun. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to squeeze and the ring in certain configurations in order to hit the notes, but you'll also have to like hold your butt. You'll have to like do a squat, like an air squat for like 30 seconds, or while you're activating your core, as it were. And it just seems like a way for me to like. My like search for finding a way to enjoy working out has been so long. For a while, I really thought that the only enjoyable way of working out was like ballet, which was a really hard time for me trying to find an adult ballet class in New York City that's not for just like off-season dancers. And Ring Fit just seems to fill the exact level of actually working out plus good enough distraction that I forget how much it sucks to do.
Yeah, fair. All right. I'm drawing the line in the sand. It's Animal Crossing time.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Let's do it.
Let's just do high level before we get into questions. I'd like to get into questions quick because my guess is that'll guide our conversation pretty well. But just where are we all at with this thing now? I know Kato and I have been playing for 7 days or something.
Yeah,
Edie, you're now like a month in, right?
I have something so important to share with all of you.
Okay, I'm ready. What's up?
KK Slander came to my town yesterday.
Yo! Permanently or for just like to chill for a day?
To play a song!
Oh,
to play a concert!
Oh my god, you got a KK concert.
I got
Holy
a KK
shit.
concert. I'm like...
Concert spelled with a C, just to be 100% clear.
Yeah, we gotta break that pattern right there.
Yeah, right there. What was it good? Don't tell me too many details, but
it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I cried a little bit.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Are you still playing daily? Are you still like...
I try to play daily. I missed a couple of days when I was kind of letting my roommate was playing. She's player 2 on the town. She's actually been convinced now to get her own Switch Lite because the player 2 in Animal Crossing... I read this great article from Ethan Gash on Kotaku about how player 2 in Animal Crossing like can't do anything.
That's what I heard. Like,
yeah.
So the way it works for people who have no idea, Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing has basically like a main resident, like or in this in New Horizons, there's like the lead, the resident representative, and then the second player just basically can't engage with any of the progression mechanics. It sounds like any of the like building stuff, like upgrading the island, any of that stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, she can donate to the museum, which is great, and she can do like the small scale changes to the environment, like planting flowers and trees. I had to talk to her about the amount of trees that she planted. That was like a roommate conflict I was not anticipating during this quarantine. It's like, hey, you planted too many trees in my island. I'm pissed. But yeah, she can't though like choose where people are going to live and stuff. I don't think now I have unlocked the island designer stuff, so that's when you can build pathways and change the cliffs and change the waterways and stuff like that. She doesn't. I don't think she has access to that stuff because she is not granted the ability to sort of progress the story in the same way that I am.
Right.
So she can hang out and she can like pay off her own loan, but I make all the meaningful decisions, and like it just feels really unfair. If you're an adult with 2 children, like I can see that being like a great way to play this game with your kids because they're not going to mess up your town, or like not in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
But for like 2 adult people that just like I'm the only one with the Switch, it feels deeply unfair to her. Like it feels really bad.
It seems like it would be a very boring way to engage with that stuff, and
yeah,
would very much make you feel like, why am I doing this at all? Like, why not just all I can do is talk to the villagers and build my house, and that's like,
Yeah, I mean, she can craft, and that's cool. She can decorate the island, which she's been helping me do, which has been really sweet. I made a very cute. Oh my god! I just made once I got the ability to add paths and stuff, I've made my island incredibly adorable. I like paved out a little area for some places to for like a little date spot or whatever. It's really adorable. It's cute. It's very cute. But like she can't make any choices like whatsoever. Like it sucks. Right. It sucks for her.
That's not great. That's not great. But you've been playing nonstop, or not nonstop. But besides those days, you've been keeping up.
Yeah, and it really does force you to make your own fun still, even once you have all these powers. And I really respect like the way that the game tells you, hey, your turn now. We've just given you a huge toolbox, and like you get to figure out how to make this into the thing that you want it to be. Like yesterday, I literally spent like an entire hour just making paths because I realized as I was paving these paths that the villagers will walk along them.
Oh wow! Interesting. Yeah. Is that like a thing? Because in the past you could sort of do paths by in New Leaf. You could like put down. Could you put down not tiles, but like you basically faked it, right? You could basically put down
kind of paint the ground a little bit.
I think that's true. I'm now checking to see if I'm making this up. But is this like an official real thing?
Yeah,
basically?
This is a real thing. You can. It takes an incredibly long time because you have to do it tile by tile.
Okay.
But you like paint the ground via the Island Designer app, and then but once you've sort of painted a path on the ground, the villagers will just walk along it.
Oh, interesting.
Like as they do their daily stuff, and it's really really cute to see them sort of utilizing the infrastructure that you.
That's really cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I am so I just unlocked residential services, which means I feel like I'm past like it's the end of the first week, right? For me, I did everything I could do basically every day. My house is upgraded once. Isabella's in town now. The kind of Tom Nook's tent is now a building, is now like a city hall style building. And it feels like I'm moving into the second phase of play, if that makes sense, where like I have 5 villagers. I have my main shop. I don't have the Able sisters yet, but Mabel has come to visit twice. I'm hoping I bought enough stuff from her to make her permanent. We'll see. So it still feels like I'm on tracks, or not on tracks, but I'm still at the I have clear goals phase of this game that are not just about me making my own fun. I obviously do also have my own side goals around like, I really want a really nice kitchen eventually in my house. I have room ideas. I have like ideas for like different areas on the island to build out in different ways. But what I mostly am curious about is how they ease players away from the sort of like, here's the goal. And I'm curious if I've hit that point now. Like now that I have resident services up and running as a building, is this the point at which it kind of, I say opens up, but then I don't mean like in the like Final Fantasy 13 way. I mean just like, is it at this point that Tom Nook, besides my mortgage, stops going like, hey, or in this case now Isabel, like, oh, we need a new bridge, like, or is it at this point is it like very open ended for me? Like, how does it transition at this point?
I think you're gonna find that it feels more open ended at this point.
Okay.
Now it's going to be about it. The goal becomes more abstract. Well, next time you talk to Tom Nook and ask him what I should do, he'll give you a sort of open-ended goal,
and
it's sort of up to you how you fulfill it. And cool. that feels very freeing after you've sort of done like a lot of really smaller regimented
30
goals.
Iron and here's the build the bridge here and etc. Yeah. That makes sense.
You'll be asked to develop the island in a way that you like, that you specifically like that makes it look appealing in some sort of invisible, according to some invisible metric. And this is the point where the game is like giving you all its tools, essentially, except for Island Designer, which for some reason you get after the credits roll.
Okay. Well, Island Designer is the thing that you move stuff around, right?
Yeah, that's when you can change the cliffs and the water and add paths and stuff.
Cool.
So
makes sense. Kato, how are you? You're also a weekend now. How are you doing? You seem like you're playing a lot.
Yeah, I am. I'm a day behind you because I didn't do the midnight stuff. So like my resident services just went away today. So Isabel will show up tomorrow. I'm very excited. I'm sad because I don't like my villagers
at all.
Okay, who do you have in your town? Who do you have?
So my starters were Hazel and Tank. So Hazel's the little squirrel with a unibrow whose catchphrase is "Uniwow." She's cute.
Yeah, she's cute. What's wrong with Hazel?
She's fine. Tank, I like Tank more. Tank's a rhino with a funny leaf on his head. That's I think supposed to be his hair.
That's good.
He's
that's
very
clever.
into
Yeah, I like Tank a lot. I think Tank is a good
Tank
one.
is great. Tank's my favorite.
It's a toupee, but that's fine.
Right. And then so my other ones are I've got Bee, who's a dog, Bea.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Bee seems cute. What's
very
wrong
cute.
With
Bee's very cute.
You said you didn't like any of your villagers.
No. Here's the thing. I feel like as a whole, they're very kind of normie compared to a lot of the things I've seen online.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, well, when I describe my villagers, I see what you're. Yeah, okay.
Right?
I get
like
what
it's
you're
like I gotta.
Would you rather have a fucked up clown? It's like that's
you know what?
Honestly,
I would trade one.
Can I show you my latest resident?
Not the sure.
Not Pietro. Are you sure? You sure? Okay. Here's my latest resident. I want you to describe this man.
What is that?
He's scary. I don't like him.
Rattle. That's Rattle. He is a black and yellow frog. With a doctor's with a mask on, like a surgical mask on,
and like a looks like a white doctor's coat with a tie under it.
Yeah, but a cut off one. His arms are showing. Right. He's not wearing the sleeves on this thing. And I need to explain that when I saw him on an island, I was like, "Who is this man? How does he live?" And I looked up how he lives. And in the past, when you look on Nookopedia, or you look on the Animal Crossing other wiki, because there's two competing ones, of course, what I saw was like, oh, wow, cool. He's creepy. He's creepy. He's a creepy doctor who seems to be creepy. Great. But his house is the way that they do creepy with him is like sci-fi doctor house with like a big weird medical medical sci-fi anime tube in the background with some sort of float. You know what I mean?
Love it. Yeah.
Not in New Horizons. Motherfucker has a dirt floor. I went in when he was moving in and he didn't have a floor. And I was like, this isn't hygienic. You can't do surgery in here. Dirt will get inside.
That is, and I don't remember if this happened in the old games. I don't remember.
The inside is doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did this happen in the old games where when they moved in, they would take a while to set up their stuff, or would they just kind of like?
I don't remember. I don't know. It's been 7 years. You know,
it feels like this is new, where they're like you see them slowly building their space. You know, it's a much more gradual thing, and like I've walked in on them a couple of times, like working at a little work desk to like DIY.
Did you talk to them? You need to do that.
Yeah. I talked to them, and then they give you stuff. Which is great.
They give you DIY recipes whenever they're working on something.
One of the other residents I have that I don't like is a frog because she makes me realize what the frog model is. Her name is Candy? No, shit. What's her name?
Damn, you don't even remember her name.
I don't.
I'm
Animal
search
Crossing
for frog.
Animal Crossing frog villagers. There we go. It is.
Is it Camo Frog?
No, it is Puddles.
Cousteau? Sorry,
Puddles.
Puddles is not a great name.
No, it's not.
Okay, so wait, what's your beef?
Okay, do you have here? Let me.
Yeah, I'm looking at Puddles.
You see how first her mouth is weird, and it made me look like my brain basically saw her mouth and saw a face for some reason, and because of the ways her eyes are separated color-wise, I realized that what this is the fucking like villager with ears, but the eyes are on the ears, and I cannot unsee that now.
Yeah, this is
where her eyes are just ears.
This is the rabbit model, but the lumps are shorter and their eyes now.
Yeah. And
this
is the villager that made me realize that about all frogs. On some other frogs, I can ignore it. On her, for some reason, I cannot, and it's creeping me out.
I don't love Puddle. I'm not gonna lie. Well, this brings us to our first question, which I think is super important. This one comes in from Kim, who says, "Okay, I have one question in this. Who is your Animal Crossing boyfriend/girlfriend? So far, mine is Marcel. I love him, and he's never a dick to me. Look forward to hearing your answers." I gotta pull up Marcel. We're gonna look at Marcel really quick. Marcel is unsurprisingly a mime, named for, of course, named for Marcel Marceau.
I love the little puns in the names.
Yes, they're good. That's
Marcel rocks. Okay,
Marcel is good.
See, I have all the
worries. This is an appropriately.
This is an okay clown.
This is a good clown. This is a mime more than a clown. I'm here for mimes.
Yeah, I'm here for mimes. I can fuck with mimes.
Yeah,
you can fuck with mimes. Who is your Animal Crossing villager or other? I guess they don't have to be villagers. Who is your Animal Crossing villager dating? I got to know. I got to know the truth.
Okay.
Or who are they crushing on at least, or who's crushing on them? Because I think one of the villagers has a crush on me.
Really?
Oh my god. Okay, I can't wait to hear that story. But my two favorite villagers are Cobb, who is a sporty pig. Cobb the pig. I love him. He's so sweet. He reminds me actually of my friend Alex Perry, who's a writer at Mashable.
Shout outs to Alex Perry.
Yo, he rocks. Yes. Yelix. Actually, I was going to give a shout out to my friend Maverick also, because he asked. Shout out to Maverick. They're both in the same group DM.
Is that what we're doing?
They're both in the same group DM. This is the pals group DM is very loyally listening to this podcast, so I gotta shout them out.
Yeah, fair.
So shout outs to Mav, shout outs to Perry. He's just super psyched about sports, and whenever he like waves his little trotters at me, my heart just melts. I just love him. I love his little weird sunglasses.
Wait,
I think he's great. Cobb, Cobb.
Cobb. I'm pulling up Cobb. Yeah, okay. Sunglasses are good. Sunglasses are good.
Yeah,
I like
sunglasses
it.
are so cute,
I
and
like
I love
the
the
vibe.
piggy ears also.
Yes, the piggy ears that
over.
those are frog eyes, but they're rolled over.
I know they are.
That's what they are. If I'm looking at Cobb.
Oh god.
And my other favorite villager is Tabby, who has the peppy like personality. She wants to be a pop star, and like every time she talks, she always compliments how I look, makes me think she has a crush on me, and also she like is always talking about like her pop star career, and I just admire the hustle, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if my villager's dating anyone, it's Tabby, but like me and Cobb are bros.
That's good. I'm gonna go to Kato because I'm trying to get a good picture of this particular villager. But go ahead, Kato.
It's gonna be Tank. It's Tank. Absolutely. Yeah. We're hanging out all the time. Yeah. Talking about lifting and shit. It's great.
That sounds fantastic. I love to lift with an animal villager.
Yeah, like my villager obviously doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, but Tank's a really good and nice and supportive trainer. You know, so we're hanging out a lot.
I think mine is Lucy the pig, who is I think a lazy villager type.
Right.
For people who don't know, the Animal Crossing villagers all have like a type of creature that they are, a type of like personality that they are, and I think Lucy is she's normal. She is in fact as normy as can be, apparently. That makes me feel a little bit better. You know what? My lazy villager. Who do I have? Who is my lazy villager? 1 second. Now I gotta know. Now I feel like I've missed. Is there not a list of these? Here we go. I think. Now that I think about it, is Rattle my lazy villager? He is. I love a lazy creepy doctor. Love it. Lucy, who I'll send you my updated outfit that she's wearing. This is the outfit she came with here. is like a very cute
Aww.
pig villager who has on like a red like sweater over like a high sweater over like a pink frilly, like it's like a magenta like frilled dress with a nice bow. She's incredibly nice to me all the time. The thing I sent you was a screenshot of her saying this was nice after talking to me on the beach. The moment that I was like, this is real to me is one, she must have heard. So I saw her singing in the plaza once because like music was just happening. Whenever there's you could put out a stereo or like a portable record player, there's a chance an animal walking by will stop and sing along to like the vocal melody. And so I'd seen that from a couple of people. Bianca, who is my like white, like my snow leopard pop star character, often sings. But Lucy does it in different ways. Lucy will sing in public, but I've caught her singing behind a house where no one can see her. And more importantly, singing on the beach, just looking out into the distance, like into the ocean. The vocal parts of a song she can't even hear because it's too far away. So I don't even know how she would have heard it in that moment. But it was incredibly good. I was very much like, oh my God, you're precious. And then also at one point, she gave me a gift. She was like, oh, I like your Argyle sweater. Here, I think this will go good with it. And they were denim cutoffs. I think the point at which you're receiving denim cutoffs from like the normie next door neighbor, I feel like you've hit the point at which that's flirting. That to me, that's
absolutely.
Flirting. Damn, I need to see your ass in these. Like, okay, what's going on? I'm confused.
She
very
loves you.
good. I think she does. I think that it's real. All right, next question comes in from Regnillo, who says, or maybe it's Reginalo. That might be better. Just curious what your favorite additions to New Horizons are, and what is something you miss from a past title?
I think my favorite addition, honestly, is just how easy it is to go visit people's towns. I really liked in New Leaf the way you could sort of just go and like see everyone's little model houses. I thought that was really fun, and I liked how it was random. So you'd just be going into this like roulette of something really creepy, something really adorable, someone with like the full like mermaid set of furniture that you desperately coveting. I also do miss that a little bit, but I think that this system is way like it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the best it's ever been, and it's made the game really interesting, really different. Like we almost immediately, just through crowdsourcing through friends, were able to get like every single fruit like almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then like it's made things like actually playing the stock market like much easier to do, and doesn't rely on you waking up super early on Sunday and then just never getting a good price for the whole week. I think
one of my friends had $500 turnips yesterday, or 500 bell turnips yesterday. The online thing you're talking about, I don't want to say I cheated. I think this is maybe not intended, but is within the realms of more of an exploit than a cheat. People are just posting when they have good turnip prices on Twitter, and someone who I don't even know was like, hey, here's the code, come through and get good turnip prices. But then she got overwhelmed. Too many people tried to do it. So she was like, all right, 5 at a time. I'm going to send out a dodo code. And so it's like, I got in line. I waited for my dodo code to show up. I went to the island. I made my purchase. I left a tip, and then I bounced. And that was very fun. It's like that.
That's great.
That system of just like it's almost like the Dark Souls thing of like, yes, the Drake sword is busted. Who cares? Fuck Dark Souls. You can use the Drake sword. Except that it's like, fuck Tom Nook, fuck the whole Nook family. I'm gonna go and take as much money from them as I can, you know?
Yeah, steal from the rich and give to the me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I'm poor. That's why. What else? Anything else, Kato? What is your favorite new addition here?
It's kind of hard because I only played New Leaf, and then like I'm having trouble even remembering some of the.
Sure.
I think one of the things I do miss was the kind of signposting that the town had of just like, here's buildings that you see coming down the line, and like I kind of know what's coming up, but it was kind of nice to have this like, oh, eventually there will be XYZ here.
Right. I miss the town in general, honestly. The feeling of there being like, I've tried to recreate it by really smushing all of my everything together on
Right.
like the same corner to produce that as the part of the island that's like sort of
Town.
like the old going to town, going to
Right.
like Main Street
Right.
vibe.
I've done a similar thing where I
Yeah.
just tried to put all of the shops and everything on one part of the island. I think once
Which
you
is
get an
hard
island designer
because-
and can make paths, it'll feel a little bit more like
Right.
town, but it's
Right.
not the same as New Leaf, which I thought had the nicest sort of
Mhm.
town and then country like division in there. It really felt like you had a main street in
Mhm.
New
Yeah,
Leaf,
yeah.
which was very sweet.
And it's that's kind of hard to set up again because for the first thing, for at least for the museum, you're only allowed to place it within your like starting area, which is blocked off by rivers. Like you don't get the pole until after Blather sets up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So like my starting
Interesting. Right. Okay.
I didn't think or I forgot that for some reason. I don't know why I forgot that rivers were uncrossable until later, but the island that I set up ended up not having a ton of space in that beginning area
Mhm.
before you get the pull from Blathers. So like I set it up like in the corner, but like there's not really space for any other of the other buildings I'm gonna put somewhere else. Basically,
Right.
so I've already had to split that up, which is
There is there is a way to cross the rivers at certain points where they're close enough without a pole. You
Right.
can hop across
you
the
can
river.
hop. I think it's only
Yeah.
where the river is only like one like tile
Yeah,
width,
basically.
and
yeah.
I didn't have any of those.
Oh, damn.
I was stuck within
Yeah.
that beginning area.
A thing I definitely miss is retail. The New Leaf kind of consignment shop vibe that was the two llamas that ran it, I think. I forget what their names are because I'm not a good friend to the llamas, I guess.
They're the best characters, and I can never remember their names.
They're very cute. But the
Yeah.
specific reason here is it would be cool to set up like a shop for my friends to come through and be like, here's like 8 things that are on sale. If I'm gonna open my gates. Whoever wants to come through and come shopping, that would be fun, I get that it's maybe a little more like whatever, just give me a fair price from the Nook shop or whatever, but it would be nice to have that vibe. A friend of ours, Allie, does a thing where she has like a welcome cart, like a free to take from welcome cart right in the front of her island. Like as soon as you get off the plane, there is like a little what do you call it? Like a little cart, it's actually like a fortune cookie cart basically, but it has like banners and stuff on it, and then all around it she has put like, here's the fruit from the town, here's like a few items I don't want, and that's very cute and more sharing focused than my what if I had a consignment shop, but it would still be cool.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I've seen this trend of players creating their own retail, essentially, where they set up a little area for visitors before they arrive, and like they'll put a sign, like they'll put a pattern down on the ground that just says like free, like please take, and it'll have like fruit or like items. I feel like this is a really cute like etiquette thing that's sort of evolving as people are understanding how to play with each other. But I do wish, like when you said, I wish that like retail existed so like when people come to visit, I can put up all the unused wallpapers that I have in my inventory or all clothes in retail, and they can just buy from them there.
God, that'd be so cool.
Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be like ideal. 'Cause I never really got to use retail in New Leaf because I didn't have very many visitors.
Right.
So it was just sort of like you go in there and occasionally one of your villagers would buy something, but not very often.
Mm-hmm.
And the other, I am glad that they separate. The other part of retail was that you could change colors there, right? Like that was one of the things they would do, and I'm kind of happy that you can access that earlier in this game and just like more freely, like
do customization.
Yeah.
So I wish you could customize more stuff that you bought from the market. Because some of that stuff has different variations for sure. It's just about getting it from like the market or from a balloon present or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Cass writes in and says, do you think the crafting takes away from the core Animal Crossing experience? I find myself spending a lot more time doing the resource loop of gathering resources, making tools, crafting furniture, and such, which is great for how I play the game, but I wonder if it detracts for those who feel compelled to optimize such systems or just want the core neighborhood / slice of life game that AC, GameCube, or New Leaf were.
I think you can get through the game with minimal crafting, other than the sort of in the first week where you have to craft a lot of furniture, honestly.
Yeah.
The open-ended goal that that Austin will see very soon as the resident services comes to your town, that really is about personal aesthetics, and like a lot of the things that you can use to decorate your island can be bought. So,
yeah.
I don't think it takes too much away. I really think it only adds.
There's a part of it that I completely like bought in like viscerally to the gameplay loop of getting all of this stuff and like getting my iron, going out with the NookMiles to the islands. I talked about this on Monday's show where I was just like, for Gita, who was not on Monday's show, I fucked up and broke all the rocks on my island because of the fruit power. And then I realized I did that and I was like, shit, I have to fix this. I can't. Yeah. I have to fix this.
They'll come back.
I know, but I didn't want to wait for them to come back and see all of my friends who were in a group chat with me go like a week in advance of me because I didn't have any fucking iron. So I became like a min-max like machine and got all the iron I could from the NookMiles stuff. And I kind of like learned how to game that system as best I could. And the thing about even that is, and I'm kind of answering a different question to some degree here, is one, I liked all that stuff. I like all that stuff maybe because I've spent a lot of time playing other crafting games and because I've always kind of in my heart of hearts wanted a little bit more Harvest Moon in Animal Crossing. Not a lot more, just a little bit more. And so this gives me a little bit of that. But the other half of it is the thing I like about Animal Crossing and the reason why I am not a time traveler is I do like either being given a goal, like build this bridge or make this furniture, or setting one of my own and saying like, okay, I'm going to get all of the fish for March that are only available in March or that stop being available at the end of March today. Achieving that goal and then putting the game down. And so the crafting gives me another vector by which I can do that, and that's what I like about it. In New Leaf, that was often things like I'm going to go collect 50,000, bells worth of beetles today. I'm going to go do that. And then tomorrow I'm going to spend that and try to like change my second or third room into a new look. And that's going to be the project for that day. This just at this point, a weekend where, yes, I feel like the degree to which you need to engage with the resource collection side of this has been minimized because you're rolling in bells, you're rolling in NookMiles, especially. I have like 12,000 NookMiles or something.
Damn.
It is at this point kind of like, oh yeah, I'm floating. I'm just like hanging out in town. And it really has shifted to where if I set a goal for myself, I can try to achieve that and then pause and like stop with the game for that day or just spend the rest of my night hanging out with friends or whatever it is. And I think that means it does totally work for me. But again, I do come in with the predisposition, and I definitely get the feeling of like, why is this here? From some fans,
Yeah. It does feel like busy work in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Especially when the game like is like, okay, you need to make what is it, like 18 pieces of furniture so your villagers will move
much.
in?
It is. It's
ridiculous.
I'm furious about that, man,
nuts.
still.
God. Tom Nook, you better be giving me like a discount on my freaking loan. I'm gonna make all that furniture for you. God. I think that is the worst that it gets, though, is in that opening, like those opening sort of passages. That's the most that it feels like busy work. At this point, I'm like looking for new DIY recipes because there's new ways I want to decorate my island. Like I want to make a little cafe area, and for that, I want to have like. I'd really like a different kind of street lamp or something, like some kind of outdoor lamp. So I keep like shooting down balloons and like looking at the beach for messages in a bottle because I really would prefer to have more recipes, DIY recipes.
Fair.
Yeah. I also love that in the crafting system they've added uses for what is generally just trash in these games, like the weeds, the boots, the tires. Like you can craft things out of those, which are the cans. Like, you put weeds in a can, and then suddenly it's a can of succulents. It's actually pretty nice. I have one in my house.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cute. Yeah, I have one too.
I just remembered another interaction with Lucy I have to share with you. She gave me a request. I thought requests were out of the game, by the way, for like the first 4 days. A request is when one of your villagers says, "Hey, I heard about X thing. Could you get me one of those?" Or whatever. And in this case, Lucy was like, "I heard that there's roaches on the rocks near the beach. They're called wharf roaches. I'd love one." And I was like, really? Okay. Sure. And it took me way longer to get one than I thought. Normally they show up whenever it's raining or just at night. And finally they did, and I got one. It took way too long, but I went and I gave it to her, and she was like, "This is the best. I got you a gift to because I knew you were going to do this for me." And the gift was a trash can, and I'm like, "All right, yeah, thanks." Appreciated.
Beautiful.
Damn. He got you.
Got me. Kato, how are you feeling about the crafting stuff in this?
That's what I was saying, is that I've enjoyed having a thing to do with trash. That's nice. But also I do think that it fills a space in the early game that I feel like maybe would have been less. It would have also felt less like I had as many things to do before the. So like the early days was like a mad rush, because you want to get everything done before the day crosses over, so that you're not like slipping on like what your next objective is. Like you want to make sure to hit that goal. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of that had to do with resource gathering and stuff. And I
mean, yeah, I think it slips into a new fantasy in an interesting way because of this stuff. When I think about playing New Leaf for the first time, there's a really hard cap on like what you can get done in a single day,
right?
Because there's only so much fruit on your island or in your town, and then I guess you can go to the island repeatedly to try to catch more and more bugs. There was no such thing as like your net breaking or anything like that. Could you only go once? I
thought you could only do it once a day, or am I misremembering that?
Maybe you're right. But did they respawn? Because I remember spending hours on the island. I mean, I was spending hours on the island to get tan anyway, but I remember spending hours on the island fishing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think a lot of the animals just keep spawning.
I think you're right, though. I think
nonsense on that island.
I think you're right that it was only one trip a day,
and then you could just spend as long as you want there. It was basically until you filled up your inventory, essentially, right? So, like at a certain point, you did have to leave, but just because you couldn't
you had to pay medals to get there. So I think like that still.
Right.
Or maybe that's a different island minigame. Maybe that's an island minigame and not the island tour. I don't remember. I don't fucking remember how it worked.
But yeah, I think it made those early days more frantic, which I was fine with. But like I can see how, if you're coming into this like thinking like slow, like you can still take it slow, but if there's that tension there of like, do I want to wait an extra 24 hours after I do this, or do I want to get it done now so that it'll be there in the morning, Right.
Well, that is the thing that's distinct for me from playing New Leaf to begin with, was like, it really did feel a New Leaf. I was like, all right, I put my, 90 minutes in today. I've dug up all of the fossils that I found. I've picked up all of the cherries from the trees. I've watered all of my plants, and now I'm done. And I think that's a totally. And maybe I didn't even do all those things. Maybe I just like walked around. I did a request. I talked to some animals. I listened to KK Slider perform. I checked out what the things I could buy today were. I moved some stuff around in my home. I think I'm excited to get to that part of my Animal Crossing experience. Or like I'm in the middle of getting there now. My play times are slowly shortening, but I really do love the more intensive onboarding. Partially because of when we're playing, which is like having this game right now as a salve. Having a thing that I can throw effort into is really nice.
Yeah.
I do badly want an action game I actually like to pair with it as like a tonal palette cleanser, but
that
so
is
it
absolutely
goes.
how I feel.
That's for me right now.
I bet. I really wish I'd gave a fuck about this new Doom, but hearing Robin, Patrick, and Emmanuel dunk on it for 2 weeks straight hasn't really convinced me I'll like it.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's one of those games where I buy it on sale and play it on easy and just like listen to Faith No More really loudly while I do it. It might be, but like I need a cathartic release, and I need something.
Yeah, love it. All right, new question. New question comes in from Pizza Hime, Pizza Princess, writes in and says, "Do you think whatever can Tom Nook is sipping on in the resident services building is alcoholic?" Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a special juice.
My guy's on island time. Fucking listen to too much fucking Jimmy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a canned margarita.
Yeah.
How often do you think that Tom Nook slips into a very offensive patois?
Too often. You leave that tent and he is practicing it in like Tom Hanks' son.
Like him and Timmy and Tommy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Fucking.
Oh my god.
I've gained a fondness for Timmy and Tommy that I wasn't expecting. When I first saw them, it was like, man, this guy is capitalist, brought his 2 capitalist sons. Teaching them this anarcho-capitalist ways. What a dick. But now they're just trying their best. They're small business owners.
They're small business owners.
They are small, and they are business
owners. They're absolutely still part of Nook Inc., though. You know?
They are.
That's where those profits are going.
Listen, they're the workers, and he is the boss.
We gotta bring him over to our side. You're right.
We gotta radicalize Timmy and Tommy.
Radicalize Timmy and Tommy.
Timmy and Tommy go on Waypoint Radio. God. This one's from Mr. Encyclopedia, who says, Animal Crossing is a famously open-ended game, so when do you personally know when you're done? Is it when you finish the various museum collections? Is it when you get your house decorated just right? Or is there no specific moment? You just grow less interested and play less often until you realize you haven't touched the game in months. It's that one.
Yeah, the third. One.
Oh,
for sure.
I have no goal with this game. I just check in and then make up something to do for a while. And then there'll come a day when I can't make up anything to do, and then I'll be done. I have thought about what happens if you pave the entire island, but I'm not going to do that. That would be cruel.
Oh, that'd be very cruel. But I'm
not
curious.
going to do that. Yeah. I have to let the cat out.
Okay,
Ella, no, I'm sorry. Ella just wanted to lay down next to the door. She didn't want to go out at all. She just wanted to lay next to it.
This is a good moment to take a break. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue to dig through your many dozens of questions about Animal Crossing. So, BRB. All right, we are back. New question from M takes target at the NookMiles system. NookMiles are a fine way to give people direction, but giving people achievements for talking to their neighbors feels like a vote of no confidence in the point of Animal Crossing. It makes me sad every time. I was going to talk to them. I'm not a monster who needs everything to be transactional. I don't know how to make this a question. Sorry, M. M, I get it. I feel like part of the thing for me about the entire NookMiles system is the thing that you say up top here, which is like NookMiles are a fine way to give people direction. I think I'm happy to have that system be there for the people who would not have talked to the animals. When I hear, I have friends who have not played past Animal Crossing games, who've never played them, and who have said, like, I didn't know what to do, and then I looked at my NookMiles guide and realized, oh, I can go collect bugs. That's not a thing I realized I should be thinking about. Mm-hmm. And the point at which I'm at the game, I think of it as just like a slow drip of additional currency, and like I know that that's not what Animal Crossing has been historically, unless you think about Animal Crossing what's the iPad one, or the iPhone one, the
Pocket Camp.
Pocket Camp, where they really did start playing with some of this stuff, right? It's like one of those things where I don't think enough of I think it's an additive identity that is impossible to ignore, but it hasn't removed the way I play Animal Crossing from the game. And so that's why I'm kind of okay with it. But I'm curious for Gita and Kato.
Especially because... go ahead.
Go ahead, Kato.
Oh, I was just going to say, especially because what is there even to buy after a certain point? The NookMiles tickets?
With NookMiles, I just got a bunch of new NookMiles stuff.
Does that
it will become clear also after you unlock Island Designer and stuff what you use the NookMiles for. I stockpiled 25,000 until after I got because I just didn't have anything I wanted to spend them on.
Right.
So I had 25,000 until after I got Island Designer, and then you'll see like what you'll be spending them on from there on out.
Interesting. Okay,
that makes sense.
That's like a longer. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like divorced from the scummy monetization of Pocket Camp, NookMiles feels a lot less scummy, but I do see it breaks the beautiful illusion of Animal Crossing a little bit, the illusion that this is its own autonomous town and it is just a place, like it is a real space. Here you can tell that everything, if you look at NookMiles, you can tell that everything you do in the game folds into a system. And
right.
Animal Crossing has been so good at hiding those systems. Like one of the things I liked, which they had to change, honestly, because otherwise they would not have brown skin tones in the game. One of the things I used to really like is they used to have you describe yourself through a series of enigmatic adjectives to another character, and that would reveal what your villager would look like after you were done. And that was a really good way to sort of hide your character creator, right? And they've come up with so many clever ways to sort of hide the mechanics of the game to make them feel like it's just interacting with the world, with the island. And the NookMiles reveals the systems in a way that make it feel more like a video game. And I think that is part of why more people like it now. So it
has done
for me.
Incredibly well for Nintendo.
Right.
What I will say to M's point here, a thing that I think this question, that their question brings into relief for me, is the degree to which Animal Crossing is the rare game that asks or that manages to make me experience it separately as a player and a critic. I talk a lot about how I don't know how to turn off the critical voice, and that's still Animal Crossing still doesn't let me do that. You know, you've heard our conversations, and you know that like deep underground in my brain, I'm skeeved out by a lot of stuff, or I'm like thinking about the mechanisms around incentivization. I was talking to some folks in the Discord, the Waypoint Discord last week, about things like yes, you technically don't need to cut down any trees in this game, but if your goal is to fill the museum all the way, you do, because that's a place that certain bugs will only appear on tree stumps. And so you're incentivized to cut down trees in this game. The more trees you cut down, and if you have the right balance, there's a better chance of those bugs showing up more often. Hey, it's also a way to get bells that you wouldn't necessarily have access to otherwise. And like, well, couldn't you just not do that? And the answer is like, yes, but the entire game is a kind of an interlocking mechanism of incentivization that is not just I unlock new things. It's I get to hear a story from Blathers, a good song plays. So much about what makes this game work is like an incredibly deft handling of the sort of secondary elements of what we think about a game. Things like UI that no one says like, oh yeah, the UI is a primary part of a game, but it absolutely is. And I think the way that Animal Crossing handles like the joy of pressing a button, the joy of hearing a little chirp when an animal talks to you or when you get something, the triumphant like fanfare when you pay off your loan, all of that stuff is a part of a mechanism of incentivization. And as a critic, I'm super tuned into that stuff, and so I can imagine sitting down and writing the article that Em is kind of suggesting here, which is that the NookMile system kind of betrays the heart of what the original Animal Crossing was, which was to give, or not even the original Animal Crossing, but many of the past games, which was to give players a kind of space to hang out in a big way, to focus on expression, to focus on a certain feeling of non-transactional interactions with the world. Yes, transaction was always a part of it because you could do shopping and blah, 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 blah. But that experience has not actually, and I can make that case, but I think that experience has not reflected my play, which is, despite the increased interest in transactions in this game, despite the increase in the amount of like angles from which the world of Animal Crossing has been gamified, my experience has, outside of this thing where I fucked up and broke these rocks, which caused me to fall into a spiral, but now I'm out of that spiral. I'm not necessarily engaging any differently. The fact that it'll give me NookMiles to talk to animals is not why I'm talking to my villagers. I'm talking to my villagers, and then it's going beep, 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 because I happened to get an extra 200 NookMiles from it. And I go, oh, I guess I had that as a NookMiles thing. And so my experience does not actually reflect what I think could still be a compelling argument. But I don't know, for you two, have you felt any sort of way about the NookMiles stuff?
I think my experience has been pretty similar to yours, where sometimes when I'm like, I would like to spend more time in my Animal Crossing town, so I am going to look at what my NookMiles goals are now and see which ones I can complete in the next hour or so. Mm-hmm. Like, that's been a way that I've used NookMiles, is to like figure out how to spend time in this place when I don't. Sometimes the goals are not very clear. But for the most part, I absolutely think that, like, it can be really ugly, but it's so far pretty invisible.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I didn't be 100% clear. My that kind of like there's two different minds. When I play this game does not mean shut off the critical mind and it's just a game or anything like that. It actually is like, I actually think maybe the more compelling and interesting thing here is the last game that I think it did this to me was Resident Evil 2 last year. It happens every once in a while where a game will just like put me into that consumptive mode where I'm like, do the thing. Civilization is like the classic example of like the one more turn model, where you kind of turn off certain parts of your functional brain and be like, no, I need to maximize my ore output or whatever. And I do think that it's possible to and worth leveling that critique. But I also am the sort of critic who wants to give voice to the actual experience of my play, the kind of phenomenological, like, this is what the experience of play feels like. And so the kind of like textual analysis and the experiential analysis have to go hand in hand. I think it's actually really difficult when the textual analysis would reveal a game that is like anarcho-capitalist, that is, encourages and incentivizes, the deforestation of supposedly uninhabited islands, which are themselves a projection of colonialist fantasy of what the frontier is. Like, I can do that, but also I have to join that with, I love to run around on the beach with my friends, which this game enables me to do. I have to join that with, like, I love looking at people's creations and finding a song to set as my island's song. I have to set that along with how many different ways can I like build a new fun room in my house. I have a room in my house that is just like my living unconscious. This is my favorite new room, where it's like a river that runs through the room. There's a floor pattern that is literally water in like a rocky basin. Wow. When you run, it makes it's water. Like, it's just a river running. I'm like, this is it. This is my home. And then I put the wallpaper was the interior walls of like a kitschy diner. So it's like a Marilyn Monroe painting, a bunch of old license plates. It looks like a fucking Apple, like TGI Fridays in there. And then it's like
it's like a room in the lodge or some shit that
then there's like a hammock. I have a hammock set up. I have like a weird rock stone like a sink. I have a push cart with bread in it, and then on top of that I put my typewriter and some books behind it. Good. It's like a perfect and like that experience is very divorced from, if you talk to your friends, you get NookMiles, or collect 30 weeds to get 200 NookMiles. And I think the most honest critique would have to figure out a way to synthesize those two experiences, and that is not podcast critique, unfortunately. I think that is sit down with some paper and like go to work critique, and I hope people do that work. I don't know that I have the time to do that work right now, but I think that is to me, that you have to bring together the textual and the phenomenological to do that well. Sorry to rant for 7 minutes about the broader questions of how to tackle a game like this, but
when am I ever mad about you ranting for 7 minutes?
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. This is from Sam, and actually this is a fun extension of that sort of thought. I've been playing this game for a few days now, and I've gotten to the point where Tom Nook gives me fencing. I find it strange that while I have no problem colonizing the island, introducing foreign plants, clearing land to build new structures, I feel like fences are a line too far. Whenever I think about terraforming or introducing efficiently placed orchards, I get concerned that I'm trying to bend the island to my will. Do you think that it's better to keep my island reasonably untamed, or is this hypocritical and I'm just trying to justify how I've changed the ecosystem already?
I think this is a question that I also think about. This is the question of what is civilization, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, is urbanization equivalent to civilization? And I think that's a question that we haven't fully answered in life, number one. And two, I think part of the ickiness that people are feeling with this game, part of the stoppage that is not letting them fully engage, is just the mechanics of colonialism itself. I encourage you, if you feel weird about this in this game, to just read more about colonialism, because you will find that this is something that is present in so many different forms of media, especially games, especially anything that has to do with the passage of time, the creation of a society.
Progress, quote unquote.
Progress,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I will say that the game does not necessarily make you do things with fences. Yeah. I added a fence to my house. I do see why, that. When I got a fence, I was like, "Oh, I can fence in my yard now." That was really.
It's such a great illustration of the way aesthetics can be caught up with politics and caught up with kind of colonial politics and capitalist politics specifically, and capitalist aesthetics, obviously, because I thought about what I wanted the photos I wanted to take to look like. And I thought about what extra texture having a fence around this. I set my town up, for people who haven't seen the photos, next to a pond, not right next to a pond, but a little bit near a pond. And then there's a backyard area. And then there is the river, right? And it's well, if I fence this in just right, these shots take on this extra layer of yes, I'm communicating this is a home. This is part of this is not just stuff. This is a home because I've bordered it in. And the reason our brains associate those things is because of our relationship to private property, our relationship to home ownership and the lack thereof for most of us in our generation, the ways in which we grew up seeing home ownership aestheticized and lauded, and the idea of the fenced in house being this is your place, and the kind of contradiction of even I wanted to make a space that felt like I could invite my friends over. So I had a little bonfire, I had a swing chair, I had music playing and a place to hang out and sit. And it's but at the same time, I put fences up to communicate this is my hangout space. People can come to my space, you can share my space, but it's my space. And that is fascinating. Because you're right, the game doesn't do anything with. I think the only thing that I think is gameplay related is I put my turnips outside and surrounded it with fencing because I didn't have the storage space in my house to store them, but I also didn't want a friend to prank me and take any of my turnips, so I put them outside on the ground and fenced them in. Which is, I literally built a bank. I literally built a bank vault for my turnips. So
good job inventing baking.
I'm now
congratulations.
I haven't made any loans. I haven't bought up any, distressed assets. So it hasn't gotten too bad yet.
Invent the tranche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
When are you going to invent the subprime mortgage? I'm
Soon.
interested.
It's happening. God. Tom Nook stars in The Big Short.
Oh my God.
Adam McKay's Animal Crossing.
Can we just get that?
I think we probably just get that. Hey, if you don't want to hear us talk about Vice for the Adam McKay movie about Dick Cheney, just skip ahead 5 minutes. I think we're going to talk about this movie for 5 minutes. Kato, can you put timestamps in the description?
Gotcha.
Thank you. I think I saw Vice. I didn't love Vice. Now I feel like Animal Crossing could be his bounce back.
I have mixed feelings on. I think I soured on Vice the longer I sit with it, but I also don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I think it's clumsy and unfocused and indulgent in a way that did not serve the movie at all.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
The problems of a comedian, the problems of comedy, essentially.
Yes. Well, I think the whole thing was there's a degree to which, not to slide off into talking about Adam McKay's Vice, the movie about Dick Cheney. starring Christian Bale as Dick Cheney, which I think he did a good job. I think he did a great fucking job as that. I think I think Steve Carell was my big miss here as Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah.
And in fact has like the worst line in the movie, which is the sequence where Dick Cheney. We need to do a Waypoints about this, or be good and rewatch it. Where Dick Cheney asks Donald Rumsfeld, a young Dick Cheney asks a younger Donald Rumsfeld, or then younger Donald Rumsfeld, what they believed in, like what is it we believe in? And Dick Cheney does, like Steve Carell playing, Donald Rumsfeld does the Steve Carell like Michael Scott laugh of just like deep like nothing, you idiot laugh. And it's like, no, these people do believe in something. It's what makes them terrifying. They have ideology.
The end of the movie has Dick Cheney turn to the camera and explain his incredibly like myopic and harmful ideology in a way that I thought was like particularly bold because he does it in the first person. So you have to find yourself weirdly admiring it, which I think is the sliminess that you're supposed to come away from.
Yeah, that's what he's going for sure.
Really, I think there's like a lot of good things in that movie, though. I like the Jesse Plemons, just sort of like, here's how Dick Cheney's actions affected a random person who lived in the United States. I felt like that was very effective, especially because it was sort of like, I couldn't figure out where the hell that was going.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, I think it got buried under a lot of other gags.
Yeah, agreed.
I would have cut a lot of shit from that movie if I was a producer on it.
There's a lot in that back half that's like, hey, do you remember when this happened? It's the Demi Ready Player One song. Remember Space Invaders?
But
Back to the
really
Future?
Effective stuff that happened with Dick Cheney's lesbian daughter.
Yeah. That stuff is interesting.
Alison Pill, an incredible performance in a very, very small role.
Yeah.
Especially when they show in that sort of ending montage Liz Cheney opposing gay marriage and just like they have a very effective sequence of like, okay, he sold out his fucking family and he encouraged his daughter to sell out her sister. Like, how can you like this person? I thought that was great. Yeah.
Anyway, can I ask y'all another question here? About Animal Crossing, not about movies, not about okay. This one comes in from Maverick, who says, my first Animal Crossing was New Leaf back in my sophomore year of high school, and one of the things that gripped me in retrospect was how much I cared about these characters. I don't mean to say that Animal Crossing was my only source of contact with others, rather I had two villagers, Lolly and Punchy, that I cared about day in, day out, and I came back to interact with. Eventually, I stopped playing once my desire to pick up my 3DS had waned, and I had to prep for college. Yeah, not wanting to touch my 3DS was definitely part of why I stopped playing that game. The last time I picked up the game, I found out that Lolly and Punchy left from an unkempt town, and it earnestly hurt, like losing a childhood friend from the neighborhood because their dad got a promotion. In hindsight, this was the start of me willing to be attached to fictional characters. Granted, that wasn't the only time I did so as a budding weeb and gamer. What was novel here was how little I had to necessarily be attached to, aside from the time I spent in town with my villagers. I cultivated a purpose to be there in the days that I did. My question is whether or not Animal Crossing creates a more direct form of attachment to characters because of the fact that there's no narrative and a reliance on your active participation. Does making a tweet about your himbo chicken neighbor working out on the beach make him as fleshed out or worthy of affection as local good dad himbo Kazuma Kiryu? The answer is yes, but I do seriously wonder about how having no plot makes these characters any lesser to their enjoyment to the player. Thanks, and keep on trucking. All the best, Maverick. I think it's really interesting. I think that, like, the fact that you do have to do a degree of projection based on very little stuff, and the fact that there are not a lot of systems, like you can, in this game, learn recipes from your villagers, give and get gifts, get requests and get gifts, give them things and get money from it, talk to them about their day, hear about their day, give them furniture and clothes, and they'll try those on or put them in their apartment or in their house. But that's kind of it, right? Like, I say Lucy has a crush on me. There's no romance system in this game. No one's getting married. You know what I mean? There's no... It's not The Sims.
No,
it's like distinctly not The Sims.
A lot like real life, you have to read meaning into people's actions that is subtext, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's... And there's enough space there to read those things, right? Like, that stuff isn't filled in a way that... blocks you from kind of creating those narratives. Also, really, really quick, it's worth pointing out that like they're talking about the question is asking about like narrative and like characterization. Basically, those things like you do not need plot to have characterization, right? So like the reason that we can attach ourselves to these characters is that their characterization is very strong. Like they are giving very clear, to the point where it's part of their system, right? Personality traits that come in through all the different ways that they interact with you, even when the interaction is like as small as just like being like, hey, I like working out today. Great, that's it. But like the way they say it and like all of their catchphrases and all of that, like that's like one of the things that makes the villagers so strong, is that their personalities are super well defined for each one.
One of my other villagers is what is her name? Why am I blanking on her name? This is fucking me up. Tammy. Tammy is, I'm gonna send you Tammy. She is a powerful, I think she's a bear cub villager.
Tammy's wonderful.
She's great.
Everyone else's villagers but mine.
She has like what is called the I believe it's the Uchi. Like the older sister. The older sister character type.
That's the best personality type.
She's great, I think. And her phrase is "you heard," and so she finishes sentences. And it's like, you heard? And I'm like,
yes.
You are my big sister. This is it. Like,
you got a big sister from
Tammy.
the Bronx here.
Yes.
Oh, God.
BX all day. Like, it's so funny. I love her so much. I feel like if it ever really came to it, and Tom Nook and I had to go, if Tom Nook wanted that smoke, Tammy would have my back.
Yeah.
Tammy would roll up in the plaza with me. You know what I mean? Tammy would make sure that them little Nooklings didn't come and try to get in the way, kept them out of it, and I shout outs to Tammy. So yeah, I totally think the game gives enough of that characterization to make those connections for sure. Though I think about it now, I don't know that I remember any of my villagers from New Leaf. I feel bad. Does anyone remember their New Leaf villagers at all?
Yeah.
No, I got Mint, who is one of my favorites.
I had Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo is really good.
I think I had Rocket, maybe? Oh, I had Olaf. I definitely had Olaf, who was an anteater. God.
I like the anteater animal types, you know?
Me too.
Olaf is really, really, really wonderful. I must say.
Thank you. Good.
I'm enjoying this very much.
I definitely had one of these deer. I don't remember which deer I had. Fuck. Ugh, okay, I can't do this. I can't go down this long rabbit hole of trying to figure out which rabbit I had on my island. All right, next question comes in from Trevor, who says, "Hello, Waypoint crew. My name is Trevor, they, them. I just lost my fucking job, so I especially appreciate y'all taking the time to record from home during all this. Your podcast is truly a comfort, as is Animal Crossing. Thank you, Trevor. Every day when my NookMiles TM are spent, my tasks completed, and my chores done, I make sure to take a little time to just chill and soak in the relaxing vibe of this game. I set a little stone on some rocks overlooking the ocean, where I rest, take out my clay ocarina, and play a little goodnight tune to the moon. What is your favorite thing to do in the game when it's time to relax and appreciate the natural beauty of New Horizons? Love the show so much. Thanks again, Trevor." How do y'all chill out? What is your relax, kick back, chill Animal Crossing habit?
Fishing.
Fishing is the thing.
Fishing is the thing.
Relaxing. It's so relaxing.
So chill.
Can I ask you what this is? There was a poll going around from an internet acquaintance of mine. I need to pull it up right now. God, how do I even? Let's see here. I mean, I don't need to look it up specifically, and I don't necessarily want to skew the results, so maybe I shouldn't actually link it directly. But the poll is basically, when you hook the fish, do you mash the button? Do you hold the button, or do you let go?
Tap. Quick tap.
You do a quick. So you're a masher. You're a tap.
No. Like a single quick tap, right?
Oh, you're like, got the hook. That's it. Done.
Yeah, done.
Me too. What do you do at that point?
I just wait because I know it's done. I know it's done. I feel the rumble. I know that fish is mine.
You gotta mash it. You gotta mash it.
I will give you
I
the
don't
current...
care whether or not it's already done when you tap it the one time. You have to mash it.
I will give you the current numbers here on this poll, which will be done by the time this goes up anyway. Currently, hold A 14.9%, mash A 28.2%, press A 56.8%.
Yep.
It's us. That's us. This is I guess friend of the site in the sense that Ryan and I hang out in a Discord chat, so that counts. The original version of this only had mash and hold, and mash was winning.
Excuse me?
And I said, "Where's let go of A?" And they said, "Okay." Someone else gave me shit about it. I actually think they did, and I said, "Here." The exchange was. Exactly. Job's done. Sit back and watch the thrashing. And Ryan says, no, when it thrashes, you mash to reel in the line. And I said, when it thrashes, I take a nice smooth sip of coffee and enjoy the moment.
Yes.
And that's my experience.
Yes. Yeah, you just enjoy a job well done.
His
you
eyes
fucking
went
did
incredibly wide. All right. We got to talk about the real issues. This is the real shit. Kato, I know you're an expert.
Great.
So...
Thanks.
What's the deal with tarantulas in this world? The wasps I get. You ruined their home. They have a right to be angry. But tarantulas just come at you right out the gate after barely any flexing. Do they just live off villager flesh? Has my resource plundering and constant overpoaching of fish and insects caused them to turn desperate with hunger?
Oh, God. No, yeah, they're just out here fucking trying to live their life, but don't get too fucking close. Don't get too close. You're too close already. Stop. You're too close.
Everyone is always at least 5 feet away from a tarantula in Animal Crossing. You just don't see it.
Tarantulas are social distancing always.
Yes. Tell me your tarantula stories, Kato. Kato, tell me about the tarantulas again.
God. So on Mystery Islands, which you go to from NookMiles tickets, you can basically game the system a bit in order to cause a bunch of tarantulas to spawn. And you want this because tarantulas are worth a lot of bells. And I filled up my inventory the other night and got it was like 200,000 bells. It's a lot of money. So it's worth doing. But it also takes a lot of time because first you're clearing the island of all the trees. Then you're picking every single flower and breaking every single rock. And then you have to chase away all the other bugs. And then a fucking tarantula will appear. And these motherfuckers, I'm like fine with spiders normally. Like it's whatever. Like they're like another bug. Sure, I wouldn't want to get like surprised by one. No one wants to get surprised by a spider. But if it's there, it's whatever. For some reason, the way these things move and the speed with which they fucking rush at you is one of the most terrifying things in this game. What normally a very happy game. I was scared out of my fucking mind the first time I saw a tarantula because I was like, oh, there it is. I'm gonna go catch it like any other bug. And then this motherfucker fucking bolts at me and I faint. Yeah, it's like the only thing apart from the wasps that will like affect you basically, and you like pass out and you're back at the dock later. Of the island. But I spent a long fucking... Hello?
It's just, it's scary. I don't like the tarantulas.
Sorry.
They are scary.
They're terrifying.
They're terrifying. They're worth a lot of money.
A lot of money. So I spent a lot of time getting better at fucking catching them. Turns out, hey, pro tips. If a tarantula is on an incline, don't even fucking try. The fucking net does not... Yeah. I dropped a net dead ass on top of a fucking tarantula on an incline. No. And that it didn't care. It was like, what net?
That was it.
Also, nets don't do well in corners of cliffs. You know, if there's like a corner, that thing is round.
Very well. You don't do very well when you try to get them.
Fucking yeah, no, I mean the net doesn't do well fitting into a corner, being that it is a round object in a a sharp angle. It doesn't work well. But yeah, fucking at a certain point, the way you're suppose there's different ways to tackle catching a tarantula. The way that I do it most of the time is you see them kind of rear up when they notice you. You wait a second, they calm down. You take a few steps.
No, you already made a
mistake.
And
then they rear up again.
No.
And then you wait.
This is bad.
And then they put their butts down. They put their legs down. You inch forward until you it's enough to strike. And that's how I've caught basically all of the tarantulas I've caught.
It's a bull. It's not you have to treat it like a bull, which is to say, you want it to rush you. And then, as it's rushing you,
I don't want anything running at me.
I have not missed a single tarantula with this method.
I have.
You let it rush you.
That's the
and
thing.
Boom. You have to have confidence in yourself. Your core strength.
I do not.
I'm giving
Slow
it to
and
you.
steady. I've got to.
If you walk up to a bull slowly, you may approach it, but you will get gored. All you're doing is giving the bull additional opportunities to gore you. Perhaps it will charge you and gore you. Perhaps you will be dead in the ring, and the many people surrounding you will shout your name as you've been turned to dust beneath the beauty of the beast. But you will have happened quickly at least. You'll have one chance to do it. Now you're giving the bull, the tarantula, many chances to gore you with its massive fangs.
But it's not chance. This is a delicate dance that you're doing with this animal, okay? This is about control and mutual respect, all right?
No, it is not. You're putting it in a net. Do not lie to yourself about respect. There is no respect here.
By not rushing it, I am respecting it.
You're not rushing it. You're targeting, you're making it rush you, and then it will respect your net.
God. I cannot.
Also, you could do the cool trick that I saw going around, build them a maze trick.
Yeah.
They can't jump over holes. So if you run,
a bunch of holes.
It's very funny. It's very good.
I did once fucking get chased and ran 2 screen lengths away, hit the water, stopped, turned around, and fucking just mashed A, and beautiful, perfectly
beautiful.
But I can't make that happen on purpose, right? Yeah, that was pure adrenaline and instinct. So normally I'm sneaking. I'm just sneaking. I'm slowly coming up, and it works every time.
Love it.
Would you say that you're tiptoeing in your Jordans?
Oh my god. Thank you. Good. Brandon writes in and says, I have some answers to these questions myself, but I think it'll make for good discussions. The discussion is, what makes this game different from work? Why is it that doing repetitive labor to pay off debts, just like in real life, is fun for people in a cute and virtual setting? Is it because the stakes are low? Is it because it's cute? Is it because they'd actually enjoy labor if the conditions were more idyllic? Is it because the idea of control of your life is appealing? Is it because during the coronavirus we can't actually show up to work, and now we're living the fantasy not only of being able to pay off our debts, but actually go into the workplace? The reason I ask this question is because I'm basically incapable of enjoying Animal Crossing except by proxy, watching others play and enjoy and gather friends and whatever. It feels like actual work to me interacting with this game. Mario Maker is another one of those games that baffles me because, designing games is my actual job. Why would I do it in my spare time? And yet I see other designers making elaborate Mario Maker levels, and I'm like, why? 5 o'clock, time to knock off work and get back to what I really like doing. The exact same thing, but in a slightly different context, but this time for free. Yeah, anyway, that's the question. Any thoughts on why the work fantasy of Animal Crossing lands for you?
So I'm considering strongly getting into making really elaborate miniatures. After watching this one YouTube channel, I'm going to link to you guys.
Please.
So you can put it in the show notes.
I'm ready.
That is all just really, really elaborate miniatures. Let's see. I'll link this one because it's usually the ones I've seen are him doing beautiful, really cute bookstores, a really adorable parfait shop. But he also made just a shitty Japanese apartment, which is just incredible.
Oh wow, these are gorgeous!
Whoa,
it's so beautiful. It's amazing, and that window, it opens and closes, and there's a fan that actually works and blows air.
This
and
is
watching him,
very beautiful diorama of a high quality. I almost said assets, but little miniature things it's of a contemporary apartment with like stacks of newspaper, a calendar, lots of little just details like trash bags, recycling bags, posters on the wall, individual knives and stuff at knives and forks at the kitchen countertop. It's beautiful. The light work here is also just gorgeous. Like however this scene is being lit from outside is gorgeous.
Watching this entire half-hour video is incredibly worth it. It is you get a brief shot of his notebook, and it's just like engineering sketches. They're incredible.
Wow.
And, there is no reason for this object to exist.
Right.
Absolutely no reason, except for you to have the satisfaction of having built it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something about that feeling of having built something that, for me, is the most satisfying feeling in the world. And I feel the same exact way when I complete a project I've given myself in Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I think that's totally it. I think that the modeling, I hadn't made that modeling connection before, but that's totally it, right? Yeah. It's like when I build a Gundam, it goes on a shelf that I don't even look at the shelf. The shelf that I keep my Gundams on, my Gunpla on, is a different room that I never go into because it's like my storage. It's become a storage room, basically. But I made it, and the experience of doing it is deeply satisfying for me. I do think that the experience of work can be pleasurable, and often is pleasurable if you're doing it in the right conditions. And also, most of my real work, the work that stresses me out, is not trying to find a sturgeon in the river of the mouth or the mouth of the river. There are distinct different types of work happening here. And I think it is probably worth being cautious about not worth being cautious about, but being very particular about what we mean when we use the words work and play, and whether or not play can have work-like characteristics and stuff like that. There is what I will say is there is a lot of really, really good academic work that goes on about the ways in which these two things overlap. And I am way more critical of the Mario Maker model than the Animal Crossing model of like play or work as play, because the labor that you do in Mario Maker actually produces value for Nintendo in a very one-to-one relationship way, right? Like the game designer goes home, builds a Mario Maker level. Mario Maker level goes out into the world. People who already bought the game, like the game, continue to talk about the game positively. Maybe a streamer finds that level, plays the level on a stream. Someone goes, wow, there's cool levels. I'm going to go buy this game, right? There's like a very clear linear path that absolutely happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that it happens a ton, but this is the Dreams argument too, right? Like no one is going to buy Dreams just because of the pre-made campaign. They're going because they're buying Dreams because they know that other players are going to put together a bunch of cool things to play for free for anybody who has bought Dreams. And in that way, Media Molecule and Sony have built a platform by which they can co-opt the labor of others to produce value for them, right? It's potential value. The value doesn't exist until it's made. It's not like in the game by default, but it's coming, and they've given you the tool set to do it. And I think that these are distinct things for that reason. And so I think if I'm going to make the kind of labor critique, or if it's going to where it feels weird for me, is that part in which, like my real labor, exploitation in the Marxist sense is happening. Value is being produced, and I'm not getting it. Right, the worker does not have access over the value that's created, and also has limited relationship with it has a degree of alienation with the work too, because we don't necessarily control the platform that it goes out on. I think about things like the way Patrick complains about the lack of tagging systems, about the ways in which things like speedrunning levels are banned. All that stuff is very traditional. Like, it can tie really, really closely in with traditional critiques of factory work from Marxists and Marxian economists. That's not a word. Economists. The Animal Crossing thing, on the other hand, feels way more like hobby work to me. The sort of stuff that you are like model making, like fishing, where the actual interaction is not about creating value for someone else, I think with the increased multiplayer stuff, you can start to make that case a little bit, but that's still not what brings me to Animal Crossing. What brings me to Animal Crossing, what drives my relationship, is the stuff with the villagers, is building out my own little town, etc. So I think that, and again, hitting A on a button to cast a line is so much different than what my day-to-day work looks like, and that's part of the attraction of it too, right? It's like catching bugs, running around an island with a controller and catching bugs is a lot different than doing the research necessary to write a piece of fiction, or to write an article, or to even to prep for a podcast, right? Like the work that I do and get paid for is using a completely different part of my brain, and it's even different from like when I worked retail a lot. When I used to help move huge racks around from one store to another one, like that was big, heavy physical work in a way that was like distinct from picking up and moving furniture around in my Animal Crossing apartment because I hit the minus button and then lifted a bunch of stuff magically with a cursor. I think that difference really, really helps a lot, and maybe does speak to the the possibility of a different type of work. What would work look like with more automation? What would work look like if you could control your work hours and you could determine what tasks you were focused on? To the degree that there is some sort of anarchist utopia here that is separate from the capitalist and colonialist shit that is all over the game.
No deadlines.
I think it's no deadlines. Yeah, it's you focus on the projects you want, right?
Yeah,
totally. I do think maybe the villagers should have some sort of democratic interaction with what happens on the island, but for now, I guess it's just be me, Isabelle, and Tom Nook, and we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Maybe one or two more? How are y'all feeling?
Yeah, one or two more.
All right,
Let's
sounds
do it.
good. If you were an animal in Animal Crossing, what animal would you be? What would your house be like? What would your nickname for villagers be? That Animal Crossing blushing flower smile, Logan, he, they.
That's so cute.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Cat,
I'm looking at the
obviously.
types of animals. I'm looking at the types of animals now. I'm going to pull it up here and I'll send it over.
Yeah.
I'm clearly a cat. My nickname for other people is clearly Buddy. That's how I end my sentences. Buddy.
Yeah.
I call people Buddy a lot.
That's not bad.
I would probably have the Uchi personality also.
Yeah.
I feel like big sister.
The personalities available: cranky, lazy, jock, smug, snooty, normal, peppy, sisterly.
Huh.
These are gendered, actually, in this section of the wiki anyway.
Really?
It says snooty, normal, peppy, sisterly is female, and cranky, lazy, jock, smug is male, which is interesting because I think this game, and we definitely got some questions in about this, has basically erased gender from the villager.
Right.
Like, there is a style choice which has gendered, like aesthetically, normatively gendered icons, but I don't know that they do anything. I guess do they determine pronouns for when animals talk about you to somebody else?
I saw
like to another
it doesn't.
player. Damn. So what's it? Is it
like
nothing?
They say they when they refer to your villager. Apparently,
huh?
I think it's just like it picks the default, right? It's like when you're defaulting to one because there's like in the like character creator and when you can change this at any time by just like looking in a mirror. There's like a top row that is mostly what you would consider gendered female or feminine, and the bottom row is like masculine, right? And so if you pick the style feminine, like you're kind of like the default starts there. But you can pick from the other row for hairstyle and stuff and you can mix and match. So it's like I don't know that it changes all that much.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like gender meaningfully exists other than personality types. And even then, like when you meet villagers, what gender they are is vague a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. I think I would be, of these personality types, God, it's lazy or smug, and I can't decide which. It's probably smug. This says polite, kind, and gentlemanlike, and will get along with other villagers. They seem to be a mix between all personality types and are lively, kind, and positive, but may come across as conceited. That sounds like me, if I'm being deep. Smug villagers, as happy home designers, smug villagers tend to have a bigger ego and talk about how much they're cool most of the time and cooler than everyone else. I don't do that.
Who are other smug villagers? Let me see.
Wait,
have you all seen?
Where's this list?
Oh, sorry. I'll link you to the the personalities type.
Just trying to see if there's any villagers in here that remind me of you, right?
I know.
Smug villagers.
I know. It's
Jacques,
tough.
a little bit.
Wait, which one of the smug? The smug ones you're saying?
Pietro is a smug villager.
I'm not Pietro though.
Okay, but I think you might be this guy. I think you might be this friend.
No, so that's my
Raymond.
friend. That's 100% my friend Elliot. Like that is let me see if I can find it here. Here is my friend Allie sending me a picture of what's Raymond the cute cat boy, and I've sent back, wow, they put Elliot in the game. Elliot, shout out to Elliot if Elliot's listening to this. Elliot is a good friend of mine from grad school. No, I don't. I think Raymond, this cat, is has it too together. You know what I mean? I think of the smug or whatever this is called villagers, I might be a beardo. Maybe it's Beardo.
Beardo.
But it does say Beardo also, who is like sort of together, but also, you know what I don't love is why is his bottom hair out?
Yeah, that's a question I was gonna ask also.
Excuse me?
What's going on at the base of his face?
Also, I don't love that his quote is "ladies first."
I don't like that at all. Okay, that's not you.
This isn't me. Also, he doesn't even have a beard.
Beardo. Well, he does.
No, he has a mustache.
Well, but
and like sideburn. Oh yeah, he has.
No, I think you might be Henry, who is a smug villager that people often mistake for a lazy type villager.
That seems right to me.
Yeah.
I kind of like
Henry.
Hippo. It's like hippo, but with like what do you spell it? French with like an EUX at the end.
A hippo.
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 Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I could be that.
His Japanese name translates to David.
Wow. This is your boyfriend.
This is my boyfriend. This is David.
Hippo.
I'll let him
maybe
know.
I'm not smug. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I think I would be one of these nice pigs. Maybe I'd be. I don't know what type of animal here. I've always associated myself with blathers or with. Oh wow! Why am I forgetting? This is bad. Why would I forget this? Brewster.
Oh yeah, Brewster is great.
The coffee bird, who I have not seen yet, and who I would like to see.
I want Brewster also. I'm wondering how many more things will come to town, like if that's possible. Because I feel like after the credits roll, the game feels very open-ended still, as if more things will happen, in it. And I don't know if that's just leaving things open for future events, or if there are more things that you can unlock. I really do miss like the best part of the like main street from New Leaf was like going in and getting a coffee at Brewster's, and then you go to Leaf's little flower shop. You check in with Kix. Like Kix has got to come to your store, right? And like
Kix
Nook's
has got to
Cranny,
come through. Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Nook's Cranny has like not upgraded at all. I still have no idea how to upgrade that. So like I feel like there's more in this game, and it's just like that esoteric way. Animal Crossing and being like, oh, maybe. When we figure out how to do it, we'll do it. Maybe it'll happen.
Who else has not given their Animal Crossing animal?
I'm having trouble picking.
You're having trouble picking it. We'll have to all think about it.
Maybe, what about this elephant? This elephant's cute. No. What kind of... I feel like maybe... I can't decide between lazy and normal. Because normal is actually apparently, let's see, where is it? Despite being called normal, have a lack of self-worth and they're self-depreciative. Which fucking mood. They do not, however, appear to show any concern for their physical appearance, making them happy happy with what they have. I'm pretty chill. I feel like that's close, but also lazy.
You're like, I don't need much.
Yeah. But then also Lazy's like relaxed and easygoing, friendly and hospitable, which I try to be, and but here's the part, fairly confident in themselves. I'm like, I'm like in between those two. There's bits and pieces from those.
Last question is just a general one because it's come in a lot. I've done my best to like capture things that have come into a lot of people or from a lot of people and just represent them with one question. But a big one here is whether or not we believe in time travel and whether or not we've utilized time travel at all. I think the best version of this question that is really a tough situation comes in from Clayton from Denver, who says, I need some help. I bought New Horizons for my wife and I to play together. Neither of us have played an Animal Crossing game before. I let her get a couple of days ahead since she's working from home and I'm busy at my essential retail job managing a liquor store. Let me read that with the right coronavirus voice. I'm busy at my essential retail job managing a liquor store. Before I start playing, though, she tells me she spent the last 3 days with the system clock to get a week or so ahead. I want to play a day at a time, but I'm afraid that we can't play together at the same time if she's going to be time traveling. What can I do? Thanks for the advice. Clayton in Denver. I really want this to have like a Dear Abby style, like Desperate in Denver, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Type name. Desynced in Denver.
Ooh, that's good.
I am one of those people low key that thinks it's a faux. I wouldn't call it cheating, but I think it is a faux pas to time travel. That is not engaging with the game in the way that it wants to be engaged with. That is defeating, like going beyond the boundaries of what this game is trying.
Do you think making a Tarantula Island crosses the line, or like other? So that's cool. Tarantula Island, cool.
Something about the one thing in this game that makes it different from other games is that it constrains you in a day-by-day schedule. You have to interface with it like it is a real place with a 24-hour clock. As soon as you time travel, you break that illusion. And then it just becomes like just any other video game. And like, that's fine if you want that. But I feel like the traditional and pure Animal Crossing experience that I encourage people to try and see if they enjoy, just as a baseline, is the one where you do not change the clock.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot. If you don't like it and you want to time travel, give it a week. Yeah, give it a week.
Yeah, if you feel like you're not where you need to be in a week, maybe, But yeah, I do my best not to be judgy about it because it's your fucking game. I don't know what your schedule is like. Maybe totally. Whatever. I'm down. But what gets me is when someone insinuates that I've been time traveling or that I must be time traveling or something like that, or it's like, no, that is not the case.
I put in the work.
I put in the work so that I could rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My hands look like this. So Blather's hands look like this.
Could look like this. Filled with insects. Also, real quick, someone wrote in to be like, did Blathers always hate insects? I saw some people on the internet this morning on Twitter being like, it's weird that Blathers doesn't like insects. Owls eat insects. Yeah, it's the joke. That's the joke. The joke is, that's the joke.
Congrats on discovering humor.
Yeah. Blathers has also always disliked insects, or at least as far back as like Wild World. I think I saw a screenshot of him being like, I don't like bugs, eek, or whatever.
Like, buddy, your billing's a third of them. I'm sorry. Like, dude.
What do you do if you're Clayton? If you're desynced in Denver, what do you do with the situation?
You get a second Switch.
I feel like, the thing that I feel like people who talk to me about feeling like they're out of sync with their friends, and even when it's not just like time traveling stuff, number one, you can visit their town. Like, it's not going to block it off from you. Like, you can just go. Like, you'll be fine.
And if you're a second player, because I don't know what the situation here is. I don't know if this is a 2-switch situation or a 1-switch situation. Would the second... If you're the second player, it doesn't matter, right? It's just
you're just following their lead, so it really doesn't matter at all. Also, like, here's the thing: after you get through that initial week of like tutorializing that the game makes you do, you can just play this game at like literally whatever pace you want. I see people on Twitter talking all the time about feeling like they're behind their friends, but there's no being behind in Animal Crossing. There isn't. Your friends might have more shit than you. Go visit their town until you get it in your town.
Right.
It's okay. Like there is no FOMO in Animal Crossing. You will not miss out on anything.
Kato has FOMO.
I have
Why
FOMO.
do you have FOMO? Why do you have FOMO?
Well, but the thing being that there are certain gates in this game of Mabel's not going to show up until a certain amount of days, right? Like, so if I miss a day, I'm pushing back the ability to get cooler clothes to fulfill the fantasy of like making.
That's necessarily true. About Mabel, at least. I think that's based on the amount of money spent, because I got the Able Sister shop in 2 days.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, that's good to know. But like, there's other things that are gated by the date, right?
Yeah.
And
well, you have a week of tutorializing.
Right.
And then you'll get the stuff.
And then I'll get the stuff. But I don't want to be behind getting the stuff so that I can make it. Because I can visit my friends. And that's cool. It's like, your place is great, but I want to come back to my place and be like, my place is also great. You know?
You'll get the Able Sisters shop in like a couple of days. Like, this is the thing. It's like, people talk about being behind, and it's like, it's really like, I don't have Nook's Cranny yet. And like, that is like a very easy to solve problem. That happens when you spend a certain amount of bells, I think. And then you'll get Nook's Cranny, and then you'll just have it. Like, you aren't behind anyone. You've just started.
I think a part of the reason that it feels like this is about the onboarding process and not knowing, especially for new players, not knowing how long it's going to take for all of that stuff and not knowing what to do necessarily. I said on Monday, one of the big things I've seen people talk about is like, or I've told people is like, oh wait, have you donated any living creatures to Tom Nook yet? Because that's how you eventually get blathers. And it's like, they miss that was a thing, because it's in a line of dialogue, but it's in like a very quick line of dialogue. Yeah. I think this another similar thing happens with the way you get the shovel or the axe or something, where it's like, you have to do XYZ thing, and if you miss that one little thing, then you might not realize, or the one for me was like, not really understanding what fruit did. And that's why I broke all of my rocks. It was like, I ate 10 fruit. And I was like, well, I guess I got this fruit power now. Okay, cool. I have to like get rid of it somehow. I'll break these stones and get some more. And I'm like, wait a second. If I hit this without the fruit, it doesn't destroy the rock? Fuck. Like, that stuff I think could be better, and I think would help address the feeling of FOMO if it was clearer. But I know that Animal Crossing wants to surprise players and be like, wow, look, someone new came to town today. Oh, wow, Mabel's here. Oh, wow, Sahara's here. Here's one from me. Is Sahara a little racist?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally.
Absolutely.
They were like on the line for me, and then they said like the money thing. What they said, some shit that was like as if they didn't know language. And that was weird to me. Sahara, for people who don't know, is a camel who sells mystery rugs and wallpaper. Who sells rugs.
They're all mystery, though, right?
They're all mystery, but you earn tickets from buying the rugs, and you can spend 5 tickets on floors or wallpapers.
Yeah.
There is something about them that feels very much in the vibe of like a very bad like Arab stereotype, basically.
Yeah.
That is just not great. Anyway, any final thoughts on Animal Crossing before we wrap up? I start to play some Animal Crossing. Love it. Oh God. Kato, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah. Tom Nook is a crook.
More like Tom Crook.
More like Tom Crook.
Got him.
Fuck.
Right.
I've been meaning to say this. I did the math on bells.
Oh, good.
And
someone had to.
It turns out it's not as bad as I originally thought, because I originally thought he was charging you like $2 million for your fucking first house, but it's actually more like 3,000 US dollars.
Okay, Kato, those are different.
Those are very
numbers.
different.
That's a great deal on a house.
Yeah, it's a great deal until you realize that then he's just, you're basically just indentured labor to him.
Yeah,
because you're fucking doing a bunch of shit. So, still not great. Oh, also, motherfuckers, they're reselling your shit at like a 300% markup. I sold my Nintendo Switch in game The one that you get at the beginning. And I thought, okay, so that's kind of equivalent. That should be the equivalent of how much it costs. Turns out the Nintendo Switch showed back up in the in the Nook shop, the like catalog service for Nook Inc.
Yes. Yeah. Nook Stop. And it was 29,980 bells, which basically means a bell is roughly equivalent to a cent. Yeah, sure, because 100 bells is like 100 yen. Right. Like that makes sense to me. Exactly. That's kind of it ends up equaling out. But so, like, those motherfuckers made a 300% profit on the fucking Switch I sold them by flipping it to selling it to someone else. Yeah, everything Nook you hand into everything like you fucking already. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything you sell to fucking Timmy and Tommy, they're absolutely turning around and selling to someone else for fucking 300%. Why they're giving you money. They're giving you money. They're not giving you money because like, oh wow, cool, we wanted this. Yeah, they're giving you money because they're about to flip it and make a big bank on it. That's the thing that's wild to me. Bank, baby. They're gonna buy those turnips from I went to my friend Art's island, and they were buying them for 500. A pop turnips to the 5. That meant that they believed that those turnips would continue to rise in prices. Absolutely. They are like that's the thing. They are out there on the dark web finding even higher turnip prices. Yeah. You sell. They're doing that insider trading shit. Exactly. What they're doing is they probably know where there's a 900 turnip or 1,000 turnip price island. They're going there. Wait, to some poor villager. Does this mean that each Timmy and Tommy for each island are individual people that are like, like alternate dimension copies of each other? I think that they're maybe, or they're just a bunch of them, and these are roles they're playing. Right. These are like they're like. There's always a Timmy. There's always a Tommy. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. Timmy and Tommy make $1. I make a dime. Yeah. That's why I have no problem with people who set forward the time. That doesn't really work, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for sending us truly dozens and dozens of Animal Crossing questions over the last couple days. I hope everyone has a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday with more Waypoint Radio. I don't know that we have any big announcements about anything necessarily. There's some good pieces up on the site. People go to waypoint.vice.com to read those. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Austin_Walker. You can follow the show, Waypoint, twitter.com/Waypoint. Kita, where can people find you?
You can find me at XOXOGossipGita.
And Kato.
At A_Kato_appears.
As always, thank you to Bowen for letting us use the track Miss You off the EP Pale Machine. Find out more about that at waypoint.zone/BOEN. It's a song that makes me think about Animal Crossing because it's kind of the era in which I was playing Animal Crossing New Leaf, and it has that vibe. There's definitely a wandering through a forest vibe. So go check that out. We'll be back again on Monday. Until then, wait, what day is it? Is today Monday? No. I've lost track of the days. Today is Friday.
Right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's a Friday.
This fucking quarantine's killing me. It's fine.
What day?
What would happen if we weren't in quarantine, though?
I don't know. Yeah, right? True. Oh, God. All right. Thank you for joining us as always. Yeah. Fuck capitalism. Go home. Peace. Kato, I'm going to give you something here. I need you to work magic with it, okay?
Okay.
Sorry for talking about Vice for so long.
Yeah,
no, that's fine.
Hey, if you don't want to hear us talk about Vice for the Adam McKay movie about Dick Cheney, just skip ahead 5 minutes. I think we're going to talk about this movie for like 5 minutes. Kato, can you put timestamps in the description?
Gotcha.
Thank you. Anyway,
and let me heat up my coffee really quick.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, be right back.
I want to grab some water.
My coffee's not done, but I'm just going to send the pictures of my cat that I was taking to the chat.
Good.
Just so you know what I was doing.
Appreciated.
She's I think she knows that I'm very anxious, but I really appreciate that because she's been very sweet to me. Laying in the bed on the sunbeam. Truly, truly beautiful cat.
Wow. Unemployment spiked to 3.3 million. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I saw that this morning and I was like, had to take a minute.
Oh, Ella.
Look at she's
Majestic.
so sweet.
Yeah.
I know. Like, she was lounging earlier too, and I just like, oh, you look so luxurious.
I know.
Oh, wait, and there's another one coming through. Look at that.
Oh, that's what I want. That's what I want in my life.
That's what I want in my life.
I want to be taking a cute cat nap.
Oh my god. Listen, Austin, every cat nap you take is very
Thank
cute.
you. I appreciate it.
I heard my coffee beep. I'll be right
Get
back.
your coffee. I'm back, Kato. Gita was briefly back. Shared pictures of Ella. Gita's back again.
Ella?
Yeah, I was saying Gita shared pictures of Ella. Oh, Kato couldn't hear me because Kato didn't have headphones on yet.
What happened?
Oh, look in the chat. There's some nice pictures of Ella.
Oh. Oh my god. She's so cute.
That second picture is how everyone's trying to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
fully laying in that crevice. That
yeah.
cushy crevice.
She completely dominates this bed. It's her favorite spot. Yeah, so Nightmare Country.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Isabel moved to my town today, so that's exciting.
Yes!
That's all I'm saying. All right, we should do a podcast about Isabel moving
Yes,
to my
we
town.
should.
Let me get.
Oh shit!
Want to
I
hear
guess.
a sad
We
fact
got a
about?
million Animal Crossing.
Hell yeah!
questions.
Hell
my
yeah!
life.
Hell yeah!
Surprising.
Actually,
Yeah,
why don't I grab
let's-
a sad fact about my life is that the Animal Cross, the Isabel Nendoroid that I ordered right before everything kicked off is still at the Vice office in their like shipping department. I had it delivered there because I was like, I was going to keep it at work.
Of course,
It's
sure.
just been-
Why not?
Why not?
Fuck. All right, let me pull these up. All right. We should go to time.is. Are y'all both recording?
Yes.
What time that is?
I
Mhm.
am at
Not
least.
There we go.
I believe
Time
Gita
that is so wonderful. There we go. I'm
is.
recording. Yeah, I've been recording.
Okay.
Time.
Oh, my
Um,
clock is 2 seconds behind. Damn.
It happens like that. Mine's 2.5. It's weird.
Damn. Sometimes it do be like that, I guess.
Ooh,
Mhm.
0.008.
You want to
Oh,
do
man.
Very close.
5 seconds after? You
Should
wanna
I
do-
get this $40 My Hero Academia figurine of Deku in his school uniform?
Yeah.
It will also be stuck at the
Yeah.
Vice office indefinitely.
But I could have it shipped
Oh,
to
you have
my
it shipped
home.
to your actual house. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Estimated release date September 30th. If I buy it now,
If you buy it now, we'll be out of quarantine, maybe. By
yeah.
then.
Maybe.
It's so. Let me link this. It's actually so adorable. Hang on.
Let me see it.
So, because he's like running to school in his uniform and he looks so happy.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
And
very
he's
good.
So, I would die for him. I would die for
Extremely
him.
good.
We offer you a
all
Deku
right.
in this trying time.
I've gotten. I'm gonna get David into Hero
My
Aka
Hero.
while
Yeah.
we're fucking stuck here. It's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
May as well.
Listen, he's gonna love it.
Yeah, he will. Like that's the thing, right? It's like
Yeah,
it's not like
like-
you're like forcing him to watch something shitty, you know? Like
Yeah. He is like going to actively get so attached to these characters and like feel he really liked, Ava. He was telling me he really liked Ava because he liked that the main character wasn't plucky and like struggled with things. And I was like, okay, we should watch this show. That will
Mhm.
make you feel less depressed afterward.
Right. Right. This is the optimistic view of like struggling but still making it
Yeah.
Yeah.
slightly.
All right, let's do clap at 45.
Should watch.
Let me open the tab. Yep.
Okay, 3 distinct claps. Kato, I'm trusting you on this one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'll make it work.
Okay.
You're definitely off sync now.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
you
See,
know.
it's
but
just
it's
like
like it's
it
like
gets
a
worse.
second behind.
You just need a new one of these. You just need a new camera.
This is a new thing. I think this is like something technical that I don't understand with the way I've set this shit up.
Maybe bit rate. I don't know.
Where
People
did you
say
plug
bit
it
rate
into?
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
No,
what did you plug it into?
It's plugged into. So this is basically the same camera we have in G4. It's the Logitech 1080p
The little Logitech.
HD.
Yeah.
And so like in theory, it should work with this whole thing of like I'm running audio through. But who knows? I think it has something to do with this machine.
Is it plugged into the computer or is it plugged into like a hub? Okay, yeah,
it's plugged into the computer, and I think something about this machine is like being weird because it has.
You just look to see if there's a driver online.
Yeah.
After the recording. Bless you.
Thank you. My allergy pill hasn't kicked in. I'm allergic to my own cat.
Oh.
But she's so beautiful. She's asleep.
I heard apparently that there are no dogs up for adoption in New York City anymore.
Everybody got a dog.
Everybody got a dog. We're this close, honestly.
Just in time.
We got a lot of time.
Just in time
to train that dog. Honestly,
a good excuse to take your walk in the day.
Exactly.
You know,
absolutely. It's a great thing.
Yeah,
Ella getting up in my face and screaming every morning means I never oversleep anymore. Yep.
Yelling.
Kato, you should get a cat. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna get a cat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna come in.
Okay.